the easiest women to manipulate. And I'm going to tell you guys this because, females, they were taught to go for the easiest men to manipulate. That's what they were taught. But they were taught this at a young age. So let's get into it. The first woman and the most common woman to easily manipulate is a woman with very low self-esteem. Yeah, these women, they don't know their worth. And 9 times out of 10, they're always in a relationship. And the reason why they're always in a relationship is because they are afraid to be alone. So they lack self-love. These are the most easiest women to manipulate. A woman that don't love herself, that have very low self-esteem. And you could tell the women that have very low self-esteem because based off of, you could look in their eyes. You could detect it in their eyes. Their eyes are very low a lot of times. And you could just tell that they have a weak spirit. They have a weak soul. And these women are very easily to be manipulated because, they are afraid to be alone. So you could just whisper sweet nothings into their ear just to, manipulate their emotions, tell them what they want to hear, and you can have her. If you can, manipulate a woman's emotions, a woman with very low self-esteem, these are the type of females, 9 times out of 10, you can have her. They are very easily to manipulate, because they want to be in a relationship, because they are afraid of, being by themselves. They don't have that self-love. And if you are afraid to be alone, you lack self-love. You have self-esteem issues. And this is why, this is the most common woman to easily manipulate. These women, you just be wondering, maybe you guys are in school, high school or college, and you wondering, why this girl keep going from relationship to relationship? Or why this woman keep going from relationship to relationship? Why she keep doing that? Did I see her with, 4 guys that she was in a relationship with, months past, and now she's back in another one with another guy? Why does she keep doing this? It's because she has very low self-esteem and she's very insecure and she's afraid to be alone. And these women are they're very easily to be manipulated. Next, the next woman is to, easily to be manipulated. If a woman, if she has very high interest in you. And these are the type of women, that has, a lot of times they have low worth. You don't have to do no investing in the relationship. She's going to do all the investing while you do all the receiving, and that's a sign that, she has, low worth. She's easily to be manipulated if she has very high interest, because a lot of times if a woman has very, very high interest in you, and it has to be extremely high, and she's not going to know her worth, and, at this point, she's going to do all the investing. She's going to try to prove to you that, that she's the woman that you want to be with. And she's going to become, a man pleaser, She's going to become a man pleaser. A man pleaser is a woman that's very, easily to be manipulated. If she has extremely high interest, a woman that have high interest, you can manipulate them so easily because, all you have to do is basically, you smash her real good and you will just be in control. All you have to do is make sure that, she's doing most of the investing. And by her doing most of the investing, she'll get emotionally attached to you and she'll be afraid to lose that investment. And once she starts to become afraid to lose that investment, she's going to do whatever you say. And she has been emotionally manipulated. She's been manipulated, because she's afraid to lose that investment. The next woman is easily to be manipulated is a woman that, she's very naive, and, she always have to be in a relationship. She just always feel like she has to be in a relationship. It goes back to the one with low self-esteem. She always has to be in a relationship. She's afraid to be alone. If a woman is afraid to be alone, you basically got her, If you make the right decisions, if you have the game and things like that, Another woman that's easily to be manipulated, if she just goes based off of just looks. She just goes based off of looks. So, no funny stuff when I say this, but if you a handsome man, 10 out of 10, no sweet, nothing sweet going on when I say this now, y'all guys. But if she just goes based off of looks, and you have the looks, you could easily, manipulate her. Because, she's going to become thirsty for you because of how you look. And looks does matter, guys. She'll do basically anything that you say, just to try to get you, just because of how you look. These are the women that are very easily to be manipulated. Because when she becomes thirsty for you, you basically got her where you want her. You can get her to do different things for you. Start investing in you. Buy that new PS5 that you always wanted. Or take you out shopping. You know what I'm saying? So looks does matter, because, a guy wanted me to talk about looks. Yeah, it does matter. And, people are deceived by looks. And you could easily manipulate a woman, I'm going to say certain women, based off of how you look. You know what I'm saying? Especially women, that's out your league. Let's say if she's not good looking, right? But you're a good looking man, and she's showing that she's, she really want to be with you. You can get her to do things for you. Drive you places. You can get her to come over to your house. You don't have to go over her house. And get you some Subway or whatever you want while she driving to your house on the way. I remember, because of how I look, this female, she was at my job, and she, how I was based off of my looks, I was manipulating her. How normally you guys have to get a female, Instagram or stuff, social media. She grabbed my phone and she, put her social media in and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? And based off of how I looked, I got her to, double text me. Yeah, all because of how I looked. I was manipulating her with my looks, basically. You know what I'm saying? She was thirsty for me. But I told her, let's just be friends, because my focus is not on the relationship. But yeah, guys, these women are, these types of women are very easily to be manipulated. You just got to know when to, when you got control, when you have the power. You just have to know when you have the power and when you have control. A lot of you guys, y'all don't see it. But if a woman is thirsty for you, or if a woman has low self-esteem, or if a woman is very insecure, she can't be alone, and she just feel like she always got to be in a relationship, those are the type of women that are very easily to be manipulated. You can get them, man. You just got to know which ones. Because women, they do the same thing with men. You know, they find a guy that they can control, weak feminine guy. Or they find a guy that, you know, they can manipulate, you know, with letting them smash. That's another weak guy. And they basically be in control of the relationship. They be in control of the relationship. Because they're manipulating you with, you know, or if she looks really good and she know that guy is, you know, thirsty for her. So, you know, she'll get him by her looks. So he'll just start simping just because of how she looked. Start spending mad money. Not even noticing this good looking woman, she just manipulated you by basically doing nothing. Just by looking good. A lot of you guys keep getting manipulated. You know, it's the same thing that goes with women. Go for women. It's just women, they are taught to manipulate at a very young age. You know, if a woman is, it seems like, you know, not all the time, but a lot of times, if a woman is, you know, she don't have that much money, she don't got her life together, the more she's going to try to use different tactics to manipulate you. Especially if you got your life together as a man. You know, this is what women do. So why would I hold back information, you know, knowledge and wisdom from guys, you know, to take advantage of what they want to take advantage of? Women, you know, women see that advantage in a guy that she can manipulate him with her looks or with, you know, letting him smash. She takes that advantage over him. And men can do the same thing. There's no excuses. But I just wanted to, you know, tell you guys the different types of women, you know, common women that are easily to be manipulated. You know, if she has very low self-esteem, afraid to be alone, or if she has very high interest because of how you look, you know, you could very easily manipulate her. You could, you know, especially how you look.